Here we are back for playoff week number 2.
Round dose.
Jim Ruppert, Todd Engle, Reggie Bush, Byron Leftwich, football.
The football. Reggie's
headliner.
Here.
Number 1 first. Give me a headliner.
I'm going to go, tons of big performances across the board. Tyrell Bolden threw for 6 touchdowns, 349 yards. Tony Giovanelli ran for about 180 and 2 touchdowns. Mike Gunner caught about 150 yards worth of receiving. But biggest 2 headliners for me, without a doubt, Nick Lonergan and Dalton Keene.
Has to be.
Lonergan threw for 302 yards and 3 touchdowns, ran for 138 yards and 3 more. Dalton Keene pretty much did everything else, caught a touchdown pass. Every catch he had was huge.
Kicked him, ran an onside kickback.
Ran an onside kickback, kicked a field goal, turned a botched field goal snap into a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
And the craziest high school football game I might have ever seen, at least in terms of the outcome and everything else.
Okay, let's stay on that theme. How did the Crimsons do it? How did the Crimsons go from being down 63-14 at halftime to 6 quarters later being on the front end of a 52-47?
A couple key adjustments. One, I think they used Nick Lonergan as a runner more than what he had been apparently.
I thought that was big.
A knee had slowed him down, and then that kept him off balance. It opened up the passing game, and 2. Jacksonville did a great job of when they had the ball. They did their typical stuff, but they used the play clock. They shortened up the game as much as they could. And then the other big thing too is that they really didn't blink, even when SHG started doing all sorts of crazy, huge plays to try to get back into it. They answered every time they had to until they were finally able to turn out the clock after about the longest fourth quarter I think I've ever watched.
52 points. 52 points in the fourth quarter.
It's not a record. It should be.
No. Bottom line. High school games are usually about who makes the fewest mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
That one was about the people that made the most big plays.
Yeah,
tremendous
I don't think.
Football.
Jacksonville did turn the ball over once, but
Yeah, they took Charlie Brown took it out of the running back's hands at one time.
But SHG fumbled twice, and they were both big, and one of them turned into a touchdown, and that's how it goes.
We were expecting probably not for public consumption, but we were probably figuring to be talking about Sacred Heart Griffin and Bloomington this week. Instead, we're talking about Jacksonville and Glenwood over at Jacksonville. That was a big win that Glenwood got over Bloomington.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bloomington's traditionally one of the best public school teams in the last decade. 3 consecutive second place finishes. Fought their way through a very top-heavy Big 12 this year, which only has 1 team left now.
Yeah, we found out the Big 12 maybe was a little overrated.
A little bit. Whoops.
When all was said and done.
That happens. But, huge win for them. They, I didn't see the game, but it sounded like they, even without, Devin Von Norheide Moore for the most part, they made some plays. Donovan Hammonds had a huge kickoff return, and the defense.
His confidence has really grown.
Yeah.
He's really played better.
And then the defense held Bloomington out of the end zone for the last quarter when they had to, and got the key turnover when they needed to.
Key turnover.
And, here we are.
Springfield High goes down to Marion on Saturday to play against a Marion team that we don't know a lot about because they're in Marion, heck. Yeah. But Springfield did 6 touchdowns, including a hook and lateral play for Tyrell Bolden.
Beautifully
a lot of highlights, a lot of great things against a Centennial team that was kind of overmatched.
Yeah, and, and the defense is not to be overlooked there, too. They, Tyrell... I forgot to mention his little rundown. He picked off a pass on Glenwood or on Centennial's first drive and took it back far enough, and that was really the ball game right there, as it turned out. Centennial really did nothing until the game was 42-0 in the fourth quarter. But yeah, huge plays in a game that I think they've been waiting, almost 3 seasons now to have a performance that I think they always thought they were capable of, and then here they are, and now they have a great shot to get on to Marion and come back with a win and play another.
Set up a matchup with Jacksonville, Glenwood winner.
Yeah.
And our last team that's still alive from the Central State 8 in the playoffs is Rochester, and it's just a matter of time before Rochester wins the state championship, isn't it, Todd? Isn't that what we're...
Well,
let's not put any pressure on them.
Well, no. I think right now, with the way the brackets turn out, everybody's sort of, circling that rematch with Metamora.
Mm-hmm.
But, Effingham is scrappy team. They look a lot like Carbondale, which Rochester saw last year, and when SHG played them in the game after theirs at Normal last year. Carbondale coach came from Effingham. They run a really, if you go out to the game, Effingham runs a really unique offensive set. They're sort of all over the board in what they try to do. And they've struggled. I mean, their 3 losses, I think, are to teams that are all still alive. Mater Dei, Mount Zion, and Muhammad Seymour.
Muhammad Seymour got beat the first round.
Okay, they did.
But the other 2 are out.
Yeah. I don't think this will be a tough test, but at the same time, if there's any problem motivating Rochester's kids, they can just say, don't look at Jacksonville SHE. Don't take anything for granted.
Oh, and that's being used.
Oh yeah, and then either way, next week too, if they win here, you're either going to get Quincy, Notre Dame up in Quincy, or you're going to play Mater Dei in Rochester.
The matchup they've kind of been waiting for. They've been thinking about for a long time. Yeah.
So it's there's a lot of hurdles left, but the way they're playing right now, they're going to be tough to stop.
And we'll be back. We're going to be tough to stop because we know we're going to have either Jacksonville or Glenwood next week.
And if Springfield wins, we've definitely got a CS8 team going to the semifinals.
Joliet Catholic. Going to Joliet Catholic. And we'll get 5A, 4A, we got it covered just so we have enough cameras to go around. See you next week.